increase the tax, this to some extent is reducing the disposable income of the people, right? So in your circular income, in your model that we've been using, your macro model, you will find that there is less available because of government intervention. In a similar way, therefore, if government the deficit is there, so which means by default we know that this means expenditure is greater than tax. So this means therefore there is an injection in the economy. So now what we are saying here, again because of what we've discussed so far, usually when you're analyzing, you must now go back to, if you remember the Nigerian table I showed you about budget, then financing, and then they were talking about, still remember that table, right? And then financing was through the usual means that I have here, right? Borrowing from the domestic banking system, borrowing from domestic non-banking system, domestic banks, or borrowing abroad, which is external borrowing, which Nigeria already does, all three, okay? And the borrowing abroad can be in the form, like I've mentioned, to the capital market loan, or a bond that you can also borrow through to the World Bank, etc., so which they are doing. I think as we speak, there must be some active loans being dispersed in Nigeria, externally. But the government of Nigeria is also intervening regularly on the domestic market. Okay? When you say on the domestic market, so some of those people who are buying their bonds are commercial banks, but some of them are also non-commercial entities. That is what fits into there. I am not sure, because I didn't check, how much is, if any, is government getting from the Central Bank of Nigeria. I'm talking in the form of advances. I'll be surprised if there is anything. If there is, it's probably temporarily. But usually, once a government gets into borrowing from the Central Bank, this advance, this overdraft, whatever you call it, remains an overdraft forever. But then you don't have this leeway. Usually this overdraft is meant for something like you and I. I mean, why do we have an overdraft facility, which sometimes is attached to our current account? Because sometimes it may happen that a check comes in a bit, and that check is cleared quickly. I'm talking about the payment, check for payment. So it seems to be taking place quicker. It has happened. And then when the money you are supposed to come is taking 6 days to come. So suddenly you are in deficit. You know, people do work like that. Not everybody has loads of money whereby you can write checks left and right, whatever. So you're waiting for something, your salary or something else, but that's taking longer. So the whole concept of overdraft, which we pay for, as you know, is to actually meet those exceptional circumstances. So for government, this is the same thing, to meet some exceptional circumstances. If there are needs which the government has, and so therefore you can get that from the central bank. In the same way that when we are going to talk about cash management, you're going to see that government did not realize that the revenue stream would not come as expected. It has forecasted in your budget, you've already said you expect revenue, your revenue authority has told you that you're going to get that much revenue. Then it doesn't happen. But on the other hand, your commitment, your MTEF, right? Your medium-term expenditure framework, your annual expenditure plan, that's already more or less happening. You're in the middle of spending the money, yes? Yeah? Obviously, if I go back to salaries, every month they are disbursing your money in, obviously 1 month later, you work for the month and you get it, but that goes on. So similarly, everything like that, the subsidies, the other expenditure, and those ministries are also expecting that they have already made some commitment about what the level of what expenditure they're going to make. And suddenly now you realize that you can't meet your expenditure because the revenue that the accountant general was expecting to receive in the government's account is not there. So normally then you say, okay, that's cash management. So they have probably other, they use the cash management program to see whether they can go on the market and borrow it quickly. Some countries use commercial paper. I remember when I was working in Nigeria, they were trying to design a new paper based on a commercial paper. I don't recall what it's called, but I'll find out. But it is similar to a commercial paper. Don't worry about names I'm talking about. We'll do that later. The difference between all those treasury bills, commercial papers, bonds, stocks, and we'll do that later. So that's assumed. It's a borrowing means, an instrument. Okay. So similarly here, so I don't know. We'll check. I'll certainly check whether anything is coming from the central bank. So now we're going to look at this under those three circumstances. There's a few things to mention here. You need to ask yourself the question when you're analyzing: is the economy operating at full capacity? Whether production can increase or not, or will it increase in demand lead to increase in prices? That's always important, because you can't be pushing forward for something when you know there's going to be some price change. And like I keep mentioning this thing about capacity, it's not about capacity, it's probably lack of capacity to increase because of the structural issues about not able to expand the firm. They don't have the people, they don't have the capacity to recruit those type of quality people they want. What regime governs movement of capital? So that's also you need to check. In the case of Nigeria, is it fully convertible or is it only current account convertibility? You can partially convert your external account, or you can fully convert it. What I mean by that, you can look, now that you know the BOP, you have current transactions, you have capital transactions. Are you with me now? Yes. This is pretty clear. Now not pretty clear, but you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes current transactions, the payment of goods, the movement of goods, transactions related to goods, or those tourism receipts and all this type of thing, which is current, can be done. So it's called current account sort of convertibility, which means that you don't need to, the government is open for doing those transactions. You don't need to get permission, you don't need to fill in forms, for example, and with the central bank. A full capital account control, let's move one step backward, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Full capital control, what does that mean? No capital can actually leave the country without the authority knowing. So basically you're blocking capital controls completely, which only few countries have at the moment. So this means that you have to fill in form whatever transactions you're doing, even at an individual level, but also at the firm level, you have to be go through that window of the bank. Okay? But most countries now have liberalized it. So as I said, you can liberalize the current account, but you can also liberalize the capital account. So which means that any transaction, you are allowed to move money out, in. So that's what I'm talking about. What regime governs the movement of capital in your country? Is capital fully mobile, that is able to move freely out of the country? Rising budget deficit can cause domestic interest rate to rise. That may attract capital from abroad if capital moves freely. So that's another impact. You might ask, especially when, if you still remember the story I was talking to you about the financial crisis, which is a good example even now. If, for example, at the moment you go to the US, you go to the UK, etc., look around, you're going to see the developed world. Because the economy hasn't yet picked up, the interest rates generally is very low. Okay? US rate hasn't increased, apart from what they were trying to do earlier this year. But they have now changed their mind. They seem to have already quiet. So they're not increasing interest as much as they want. I told you about the UK reducing interest. The European market, a lot of them are in trouble, so they're not increasing. So the market is really sort of a low interest rate environment in the developed world. What does that mean for people who have money in those countries? They are a bit frustrated because they realize that they are not getting the return that they want. And because interest rate set by government, the base rate, is an indication, an indication of the other rates. The other rate that prevails in an economy follows normally your base rate, that rate. So you will see that your savings rate, your other rate, current account, there's nothing, you're not getting anything. And when you look for opportunity for investment, all there also is not there. So that is when you will see that a lot of people, a lot of investors, institutional investors, or a lot of those even fund managers, they call them, they may not have heard of Nigeria. They know Nigeria. Oh, in America, people still think that Africa is a country, but good luck to them. But they know it's Nigeria, but they don't know Nigeria well. So they probably have never done any transaction. But suddenly now they realize, because they're reading the or some advisors. They always have advisors. Somebody is saying, well, you want to diversify and get a higher rate of return from what you're getting, the peanut that you're getting in UK or the peanut that you're getting in the US. They say, well, why don't you come and invest some money in Nigeria? So the rate of interest increase here. Whatever reason your rate of interest has increased for, whatever reason, suddenly you might see an inflow of capital coming in. And depending now, I'm telling you, those portfolio flows, while it may be quite interesting for it to come, but just be aware it's so volatile. As quickly as it comes, as quickly as it can go. So you can't make decisions, like sound decision about what, compared to foreign direct investment, because they have a plan, like I've said yesterday. They do have a plan, they're putting a plant, they're opening a business, they want that to be fruitful, etc., etc. So they're not going to disappear overnight because of change of government or crisis or anything. They won't be happy, obviously, because sometimes their business will be affected. I remember that when there was some problem in Nigeria, not in Zimbabwe, where there was some problem in Mozambique, there was some problem in Madagascar. These are like upheaval. A lot of firms that have gone to implant there, loads of foreign direct investment, they suffered losses. Because what happened? There was always stoppage, like strike. And you know, strike, as much as it's good for us employees, strike is not good for the country. You know that. Sometimes you might get on a strike yourself because you say, well, the government is not giving you salary or your pay and conditions of service is not good. So sometimes they ask you to get on strike. So that is normally the right. You're trying to fight for your right. But for a business point of view, they don't like every day that somebody is not working. This is money, production not happening. And they can compute it immediately to find how much loss they're going to make. So there was this type of upheaval in those three countries I mentioned, and suddenly. So they're not very happy. But then they're not going to close the business compared to that portfolio flow. He doesn't have time for you. Go, right? The business here will have to say, well, I have to survive. And then when they realize they can't survive for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because the situation is not improving, then they don't have any choice. But they cut their losses and they go out, you know. But they still better for the direct investment. So this capital movement, if it is exchange rate regime fixed or flexible, that's another thing. I can imagine, because I was on the other side, I can imagine the type of reaction I was watching on the international markets about when Nigeria decided to impose a sort of a, you know, try to intervene on the exchange rate market. For how long did that happen? Do you remember? I can't remember. But it's quite a bit of time, right? No, not when. I know when. I say for the duration of that sort of
policies changes.
Yes.
Policies change.
I know it changed. So I was just doing. Do you have an idea how long it was? Because sometimes it may be so short term, the impact is minimal. Sometimes the impact can be big because you've taken 6 months or you've taken 9 months to tweak that policy. That's why I was trying to ask. You don't remember?
6, 7 months.
7 months. So that's quite a bit, you know, to make. Because you know, an economy, there's a saying that tell you that the economy is a bit like those. How many wheels are there? Those big trucks, you know, those huge trucks. 10 wheels or those huge trucks, long one, you know. The economy is a bit like that. If you try to turn that truck in a narrow hole, can you imagine how much zoom, reverse, counter reverse, partial reverse? The economy is a bit like that. It's quite difficult to kickstart or to reverse gear, etc., etc. But 6 months sometimes in an economy is quite long for the result of any impact to come to your country, right? This is normally what they say. But it's not like when you do economic on paper, we just say, well, government is increasing the tax immediately. Sometimes it's immediate, yes. There are some. When it hits you in your pocket, that's immediate. Government says tomorrow I'm going to remove subsidies. That hits you in your pocket. Government says I'm going to put up more taxes on tobacco, on whatever, on anything, or some increase the rate of. You have VAT here, right?
Yes.
Everybody has VAT. So what do you call it? Government sales tax, eh? GST. What do you call it? Or VAT? VAT itself. No. What do they call it?
What is the question?
You have a sales tax or a VAT Value-added tax.
Consumption tax.
Consumption tax. Yeah, value-added tax. That's what it is. So different countries have different things. So
attempts to increase it to 10%, but
hasn't been possible. But this one, as we know, this is a regressive tax because the poor suffers more. Because there's no such thing in it. I don't think I've seen any supermarket that says for the poor line 1, for the less, for the well-off line 3. So everybody who goes to the supermarket pays the same price.
the attempt they tried to make initially was to differentiate and say, okay, it's only for luxury goods or luxury items.
Yes, that one you can do. That one potentially, yes.
Yeah, potentially that's what.
Yes, but you can't segregate the market.
You can't segregate the market.
Yeah. So that is why
to buy a Mercedes C-Class is a luxury item.
Yeah.
Going to buy a bicycle.
Sometimes this is a subjective nature. I mean, in the UK, for example, they decided a long time ago that there's not going to be VAT on food items. So sometimes now some people are talking about, well, oh, this is benefiting the rich. But government is saying, well, listen, you are trying to say that we have to control, we have to manage or micromanage the economy. We can't do that. We have to give away something. So we are trying to ensure that the poor doesn't get penalized, because there the VAT is 20%. Can you imagine 20% tax on your food items?
It's too high.
That's a lot. Yeah, 20%. That's what we pay for on everything except food. So clothing, etc. You pay that. So suddenly now they differentiate between that. So coming back to Nigeria, if your sales tax or your consumption tax increases, the impact would be immediate. Right? But sometimes the policy may not be immediate. It all goes through what I've been explaining now. Through consumption, through production, through price, etc. But something that affects the population immediately. Because why? Because you're going to the shop tomorrow. Right? And this is why government is very good. In order to prevent hoarding. How many times have government, they've learned the lessons, and I'm sure even Nigeria here have learned it. They announce, the old days I remember government need to announce, we're going to increase the price of this next month. So now people start piling up. Well, you can't pile up forever because it's perishable good. But then you can see lots of piling up. But now they don't do that. Most of the time they don't do that. The announcement is with immediate effect. This is what the Minister of Finance will say in his budget or her budget speech. For immediate effect, the price of tobacco, the price of this, the price of this, the price of this. So basically, that's it. Some consumers, they have inside knowledge. So they've already stockpiled for the last 1 month or 2 months or whatever. So then obviously they get their own windfall gain themselves. So they voted the old price, they're selling it at the new price. Okay, so that's what it's talking about here. What exchange rate regime? So I was talking about this regime here. So what is the impact? Because whether you have a fixed exchange rate regime or a flexible exchange rate regime, it has an impact. And I will see that a little later. Will increasing government spending lead to private sector reducing spending? Domestic demand will not increase in this case, crowding out. So that's what I was talking about. Is there crowding out in the sector? Which means that government is having running a budget deficit. Going back again to what I've told you before, running a budget deficit meaning you're borrowing, and the government is borrowing domestically. Okay? If it's borrowing domestically, this means less money. You know, in the financial market, don't think that the market, when I know you don't think, but let's reconfirm it. The amount of money available there is finite. It's not a bottomless pit of money there. The money is very fixed. This is why sometimes government themselves, when they go to the market, if they haven't announced what they want to do, or the amount it came out as a surprise, the private sector has already used their money. So they would not come and buy your bond. So government itself sometimes find it difficult, not always, but they find it difficult to raise money. But the private sector now, because their bond, the credit quality of a bond, corporate bond I call them, corporate bond and a government bond. The government bond, because it's backed by government, is considered to be less risky. While the private sector bond, it's linked to their own profit. It's linked to their own performance. So there's always a risk there that if you take the bond, obviously you might get a good return, but you may never see your money. So you lent it to them, and they've gone. They've collapsed, whatever it is. So on the other side now, so there's less people interested to, or there's less money available. So government interaction in the market can lead to private sector crowding out. Private sector crowding out means it cannot get its capital to invest. So suddenly you find this red bond. It found itself probably in that situation. So that's what I'm talking about. If your fiscal deficit probably is too large, or it's becoming a bit too recurrent, it's going on for too long, and you're realizing that this may create some problem, more macroeconomic impacts in the economy. So then you don't have any choice than to cut the spending level, meaning expenditure, or raise revenue, which is not a bad idea. We haven't spoken a lot about that, but you know that I've just said raise tax. Raise tax, raise tax, raise tax. But sometimes it's not about raising tax. It's about collecting tax back. So you're not increasing the tax, but your level at the, I don't know what other tax you have, at the customs level, etc. There might be better collection, better reporting, quicker way of the money coming to the government rather than taking its own time, blah, 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 blah. So all these things. So you can increase revenue. I've always said increase tax. You can increase revenue by not increasing tax. This is the more efficient collection of taxation. More efficient. Increase efficiency in the collection. Okay? And that is what called leakage. Many government, in our type of government, don't get their money. And sometimes government goes to the extent of increasing more taxes, but they don't tackle the issue of collection. Sometimes it's better to increase to tackle the concern of collection. Then you go and increase tax. But taxation, like you're saying, increase that consumption tax. That's going to create a big problem for the people. Yes. People are not going to be happy about it. While by improving your own efficiency, by improving the manner in which you're getting your revenue, suddenly it's like a free lunch for you, basically. Right? You're getting what you have been losing before. Yes. Okay, may not be straightforward, like I said. Need to look at different options for reducing expenditure or raising revenue. So that's the challenge for government. Government is always in a difficult situation. It knows that whatever it does, somebody is going to complain. Somebody is going to question it. It might lose the vote. It might lose the election even. If, for example, people lose trust in the government. Okay? So that's why I'm saying it's not straightforward to say just reduce spending or increase revenue. Need to look at different options, like I said, for reducing expenditure or raising revenue. Consider impact of policy on welfare. And that's always important. Government should be always careful about the welfare side. And this is why we always look at the negative impact of fiscal policy. And the poor is the first group of people to suffer. Okay? So we have to look at that. And how do you do that? Sometimes try to meet the objectives of economic policy, but bring in social policies, for instance. So try to have what we call social safety net. Have you heard of social safety net? Yes. You must have social safety net. Yes. So you compensate a bad policy, or not a bad policy. The policy is supposed to be good. You compensate you mitigate the negative impact of a policy by putting in some social safety, by protecting the poor and the
social responsibility.
Being a bit more responsible, so that when they are paying their tax, they're paying they're paying the consumption tax. You give them some form of additional help or something, right? Or you give them a help in terms of their fuel. They give them a help in terms of something else, so that their disposable income doesn't change. But if you give them subsidies here, and you take something there, it remains the same. Is that clear? Yeah. Unfortunately, this is economic policy for you. I can't give you magic solution. You just have to look at plus. This is how the economy works. Okay, I hope you've been able to understand what I'm talking about. Okay. And the more you analyze it, the way I've been telling you, the more you get the linkages. You're going to understand your own Nigerian economy quickly. Immediately when a policy comes out, when your government strategy comes out, you will be able to know. And you can even, functioning monetary policy is that you get more money, but your interest also is low. So this means that more incentive to borrow, more incentive to take money and invest. Increased demand can increase demand for imports. That's the slightly negative impact. But then again, like we were discussing, what type of import? Is it import for raw materials? Is it import for consumption? How to check. Okay? If production does not increase, that's another problem. High money supply can make too much money chasing too few goods, which I was telling you that. That's really the nightmare scenario. Production is not increasing, despite your effort to increase it. And then money supply is, there's too much money, which means that you have money. Everyone is going to the market saying, are we going for the trading tomorrow? No. We're going shopping. So you take all your money to go to the market. There's not enough goods there. Like Mr. Nasir was saying, the Marks and Spencer of here. they can't handle it because 20 people from Abuja is trying to buy the whole market. So suddenly you created inflationary hyperinflation because you created too much, you have too much money. You're trying to buy the too little goods. I'm making a joke, but this is true. This is how it works. And what do? This is how to bring down inflation through tight control over money supply combined with other policies. That's exactly what it is. Okay?
Yeah.